Hello and welcome back to another episode of All Things Girl World. Today you're in for a treat because we're turning the spotlight on the soulful sounds of R&B from the 90s, an era when music didn't just play, it spoke to your heart. This was a time when vulnerability wasn't seen as a weakness, but a superpower. Artists sang about love, loss, longing, and everything in between, doing so with control, depth, and soul. We had Midnight Love on BET, The Quiet Storm on the radio, and music videos that turned already powerful songs into unforgettable visual experiences. Artists like Jagged Edge, 112, Tamia, Brandy, Tyrese, and so many more reminded us of the kind of love that we once craved: passionate, vulnerable, and deeply felt. A love that now feels rare, almost out of reach. There's just something about being in R&B mode. It slows you down, pulls you in, and reminds you what it's like to crave connection. And that feeling, once you felt it, you never forget it. So grab your wine glass, dim the lights, and let's count down 10 of my favorite R&B songs from that golden era and the music videos that made the mood complete. Coming in at number 10 is Subway featuring 702 with This Little Game We Play. You don't hear this one brought up too often, probably because Subway's time in the spotlight was short, but it remains one of my favorite R&B songs of the 90s. A big reason why is Lamisha's standout vocals. She carried the track with such strength and maturity, especially considering how young she was at the time. Released in 1995 as the lead single from Subway's first and only album, Good Times, the track was written and produced by the legendary Gerald Levert and Edwin Tony Nicholas. This Little Game We Play had a solid run, spending 20 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 and peaking at number 15. It also climbed to number 4 on the Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, cementing its status as a quiet classic from that era. Although Subway disbanded in 1996 without a follow-up to the success of this single, 702, originally a quartet before transitioning into the trio we came to know with the addition of Camila Williams, went on to enjoy major success. From 1996 to 2003, they released 3 albums and scored several top 40 hits, solidifying their place in R&B history. Taking the number 9 spot is New Edition with their 1996 single, I'm Still in Love with You. This smooth ballad was the second single from their 6th studio album, Home Again, and was written by none other than fellow group member Johnny Gill. This song is absolutely beautiful, smooth, heartfelt, and mature. It showed that New Edition had grown right along with their fans, delivering the kind of love song that felt timeless. With vocals led by Ralph Tresvant and Ricky Bell, the lyrics express the desire to right past wrongs, a man's heartfelt admission that he's still in love, and his vow to be better and keep her happy, all delivered with raw emotional vulnerability. The music video was just as beautiful as the lyrics. Directed by Joseph Kahn, it featured the group in a Miami mansion, cruising along the water on a gondola, dressed in all white, and even singing on a yacht. It was very smooth, grown, and sexy. I'm Still in Love with You peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and will forever be one of my all-time favorite R&B songs. Number 8 goes to the vocal powerhouse herself, Deborah Cox, with her 1998 hit single, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. Released as the lead single from her second studio album, One Wish, the song was written by Montel Jordan and dropped the same day as the album. This is yet another song full of emotional vulnerability, one that at some point we've all been able to relate to. Deborah sings about unexpectedly falling in love after promising herself she was done with it, capturing that mix of fear, surprise, and surrender. And with her powerhouse vocals, Deborah doesn't just sing the lyrics, she feels them, delivering every note with the kind of emotional intensity that turns heartbreak into a timeless anthem. Back in 2020, more than 20 years after the song's release, the Deborah Cox Challenge went viral with vocally gifted men and women attempting to match that iconic note that we all know from her 1998 hit. Nobody's Supposed to Be Here spent 29 weeks on the charts, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. To this day, it remains one of the most unforgettable R&B ballads of its time. Coming in at number 7 is a song that I suspect a lot of people don't know. Maybe a few millennials here and there may have heard it or at least remember it, but it's definitely one of those quiet as it's kept R&B gems. Flavor was released in 1999 by the R&B boy band Imagine. It's centered around a typical teenage crush, but the song was so well composed and the vocals so mature that it felt well ahead of its time. Imagine's self titled debut album ended up being the group's only album, but it did produce their Billboard Hot 100 hit, Shorty You Keep Playing With My Mind, featuring Keith Murray, which peaked at number 25. The late 90s and early 2000s saw a new wave of boy bands taking over the charts, both in pop and R&B. While they weren't the first, these newer groups added even more variety to the boy band landscape. Pop had NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, while R&B delivered groups like 112, Jagged Edge, B2K, and Imagine, each offering their own style, harmonies, and charm that defined the sound of the era. And even though Imagine's career was short-lived, Flavor remains a standout track to me that deserves to be remembered. Coming in at number 6 is Brandy with her 1998 ballad, Have You Ever? Often referred to on social media as the vocal Bible, Brandy's voice is in a league of its own. Rich, harmonious, and instantly recognizable. Her vocal tone, layering, and emotional delivery have made her a favorite amongst vocalists and R&B lovers alike. In many ways, Brandy was to R&B what Britney Spears was to pop: young, trend-setting, and a dominant force in the 90s music scene. Released as part of her second studio album, Never Say Never, Have You Ever is a powerful ballad about unrequited love, the kind of love where you've given your heart to someone who doesn't feel the same way. Brandy delivers the lyrics with such a vulnerability and grace that made listeners feel seen, whether they were nursing a heartbreak or quietly longing for someone they could never have. The song was written by Diane Warren and produced by David Foster, and the combination of Brandy's vocals with their craftsmanship created something timeless. Have You Ever became a massive hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and holding that spot for 2 consecutive weeks. It's one of those songs that lingers in your memory, not just because of how it sounds, but because of how deep it feels. Brandy's ability to channel heartbreak into harmony truly solidified her as one of the most important voices in R&B, then and now. Number 5 is a song that holds a special place in my heart, Tyrese's 1998 single, Sweet Lady. Released from his self-titled debut studio album, this track captures everything that was magical about R&B in the late 90s. The lyrics were heartfelt, the production was smooth, and the visuals were just as memorable. It was a time when R&B wasn't afraid to be tender and direct about love, and Sweet Lady is the perfect example of that. Sweet and straight to the point, this song instantly takes you back to a golden era of love songs. The music video added even more charm to the track, featuring the stunning Maya Campbell as Tyrese's love interest, a casting choice that made perfect sense considering the on-screen chemistry and her popularity at the time. The visual, like the song, felt authentic and romantic, which only deepened its impact. Even though it surprisingly peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, which honestly feels criminal, it did reach number 9 on the Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart. Sweet Lady may not have topped every chart, but its emotional impact is undeniable. Tyrese truly deserves his flowers, not just for this song, but for his overall contribution to R&B. He's one of the best voices not only of his generation, but of all time in my opinion. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted by the headlines and social media moments, but when you strip all that away, you're left with a powerhouse vocalist and an incredibly talented actor. Sweet Lady is a timeless record that reminds us exactly why Tyrese earned a spot in R&B history. At number 4 is 702's 1996 single Get It Together from their debut studio album, No Doubt. Written and produced by the incredibly talented Donnell Jones, this track quickly became one of the standout R&B songs of the 90s. It speaks to that all too relatable moment of frustration in a relationship where you love someone deeply but need them to grow up and meet you halfway. With its smooth production and heartfelt delivery, Get It Together struck a chord with the listeners, debuting at number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100 and eventually peaking at number 10. This song marked a major turning point for 702, becoming their first song to hit the Billboard Hot 100. It was also certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, solidifying their place in the growing wave of R&B girl groups dominating the charts at the time. Get It Together remains one of their most influential and beloved songs to this day. Before we get to number 3, I want to take a moment to honor the lives of Irish Grinstead and her twin sister Orish, who was an original member of 702 before it became a trio. May they both rest in peace. Their voices and presence helped shape a beautiful era in R&B music that continues to live on through timeless tracks like this. Thank you so much for your contribution. Sliding into the number 3 spot is Faded Pictures by Case and Joe, one of my all-time favorite R&B songs and yet another gem from the golden year of 1998. This emotional ballad brought together two powerhouse voices from the 90s R&B scene, and the results were pure magic. Faded Pictures is about the lingering effects of lost love, how memories can haunt someone, and how the past can feel more vivid than the present when your heart is still stuck there. It's a perfect example of 90s R&B's ability to capture emotional complexity in a relatable way. It originally appeared on the Rush Hour movie soundtrack, but also found a home on Case's second studio album, Personal Conversation. It went on to peak at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, earning its rightful place amongst the most memorable R&B duets of the decade. Faded Pictures is one of those tracks that still hits just as hard today, a true reminder of why the late 90s were such a special time for R&B. Claiming the number 2 spot is Jodeci's Come and Talk to Me remix, released in 1991, the oldest song on this countdown, but still an undeniable classic. This smooth, seductive anthem comes from the group's groundbreaking debut album, Forever My Lady, and was written, produced, and arranged by Al B. Shore and Jodeci's own Devontae Swing. The remix version took the original to a whole new level, adding more flavor and edge while still keeping that signature Jodeci sound. Even though it dropped in the early 90s, it still has the ability to set the vibe in any room, no matter the generation. The music video for the remix is one of my personal favorites. It perfectly captured early 90s R&B style. Urban, cool, and filled with iconic streetwear that set trends for years to come. From the baggy jeans to the leather jackets and boots, Jodeci gave you every bit of 90s fashion, attitude, and flavor. It's a time capsule of style and sound. Come and Talk to Me peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its cultural impact goes far beyond the charts. It's one of those rare songs that can instantly bring a room together, whether you were born in the 90s or just now discovering its magic. Some songs are unforgettable, and this is absolutely one of them. And finally claiming the number 1 spot is none other than the legendary Toni Braxton with her sultry hit How Many Ways, released in 1994. This timeless track was the 5th and final single from her iconic self-titled debut album, which introduced the world to Toni's signature smoky voice and emotional depth. How Many Ways showcase a softer, more romantic side of her artistry, blending sensual lyrics with smooth production that perfectly captured the essence of 90s R&B. The song peaked at number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100 and climbed all the way to number 6 on the Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, further proving Toni's staying power in a decade filled with powerhouse vocalists. The music video is just as memorable, with Toni looking absolutely radiant as she professes her love to none other than model and actor Shamar Moore. Their on-screen chemistry was electric, and the video became a fan favorite, not just for the aesthetics, but for how it elevated the song's heartfelt lyrics. Set against a lush romantic backdrop, the video added visual depth to the song's theme of unwavering devotion. Toni Braxton's ability to deliver both heartfelt emotion and strength in her performances is exactly why she remains one of the most celebrated R&B artists of all time. How Many Ways wasn't just a hit, it was an era-defining love anthem that closed out her debut album era with elegance and passion. And that wraps up my countdown, celebrating some of the best R&B songs that defined the 90s, a decade that gave us unforgettable voices, timeless lyrics, and music that wasn't afraid to be vulnerable. There's a reason why people keep coming back to this era. The romance, the chemistry, the storytelling, and the soul were unmatched. These songs weren't just hits, they were emotional experiences that made us feel seen, loved, and understood. That's why 90s R&B remains undefeated. There truly hasn't been another era like it. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your favorite R&B songs from the 90s? Do you think the lack of emotional vulnerability in today's music reflects how people connect with each other now? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on All Things Girl World.